graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Yo.
Hey, it's Hal. Just returning your call.
What up, Al? What's going on, boy? Yeah, what's going down?
Nothing. Are you calling to apologize?
What? What you talking about, man? Look here, man. The lady came up to me. I hit that ass and I moved on, dog. He wasn't in town, dog. This shit is over, man.
Oh, okay. I get it now. You're doing a black guy character because I'm a black guy, right?
Black man doing the thing, baby. Barack Obama, motherfucker. Barack Obama. I'm the president of hitting that ass.
Look, that's not cool, man, all right? It's kind of offensive. Don't do it, okay?
Black man doing his motherfucking thing in the world, baby. You feel me?
I just said don't talk to me like that, okay? It's offensive. I thought you were calling back to apologize about what you said to my wife.
You had your wife back, man. I don't want the bitch no more. I just said I hit it and I quit it, man.
Can't believe you, man. I cannot fucking believe you. Fuck you, Larry.
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And Paul...
What?
I don't know. I always start the episode like that. No, well, we were just talking about how this show is damn near 5 years old. Next month, April 20th. Unfortunately, man, this show will be 4 years old. But we are recording this on your iPhone. Yes, we're streaming it live now.
The HD picture, Chris.
Paul's beautiful iPhone.
I if this was a woman right here, I might make out with it.
I like my shitty phone, because it's like more punk rock, you know. And then using Paul's brand new microphone that he got for Christmas. So I don't know, but actually the one my microphone goes stereo. This one doesn't, but it actually picks me up pretty good. So, but I'm pretty sure that's the exact same one. I don't know. Maybe
it is the exact same one. Which I still laugh at the fact that you told her to get that. But it sounds on Toonami Faithful podcast. It sounds wonderful.
And we'll see. In all fairness, yeah. I think it's not. See, we record this on Audacity.
Correct.
When you record on Skype has really good filters on it, and it takes out the background. It takes around like all the echo and stuff like that. It uses condensers and all this other bullshit. So that's why we sounded better when we were on Skype, and hopefully soon I will have my Wi-Fi. I promise everybody.
He's lying.
I will. I just got to get my car fixed, and then I'll start worrying about my Wi-Fi.
People, I don't know what he's talking about.
I have to pass my car inspection first, and once I pass my car inspection, then I'll have fuck around money so I can actually get Wi-Fi. But that being said, so last episode, you mentioned
you had a stand-in.
You mentioned the Toonami Faithful podcast, and we did have a Jen on. Jen, who technically has been on the show before you, so you got to give her some respect.
No, I'm fine. That's fine. I'm good with that. It's just so the Sunday before that Monday, I'm sitting down on my computer, which you can't see, and the cup just dropped. And I'm about to edit this podcast, so I go through. I don't do probably an extensive editing like you do or Sketch does, but I just basically what I do is I go through and I look for spaces in the audio, and then when I see a space, I listen to see if it's, to bring it a little bit closer together so the audio doesn't sound like there's not a big space of nothingness.
Yeah.
So for the first 10 minutes of the podcast, it was fine, and then all of a sudden they're talking, long space, they talk again, long space, and I'm like, something's not right here. And I listen back to it, and I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, oh fuck, it didn't record me. So I was like, yeah, we're just gonna. What, am I a little too loud for you?
Well, no, it's just you're pinning it. You're making it go. But okay, go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it was just Chris.
You were recording the Toonami Faithful podcast, and it wasn't recording your half because you use a different. When we used to do the episodes on Skype, I used the program called Simcle, which technically, actually, the last time I used it didn't record my half. and that was the episode I did with the guys from the Cinema Psyops.
Well,
and I could have, and what pissed me off is that the program came up, it looked like it was recording, and was all said and done. I looked for the file, I found a file, but it was nothing there. So, but it's because Skype keeps fucking updating. They keep updating, and then all the third-party recording programs get fucked up, and those programs need to update to catch up to the bullshit that's still.
Right.
Leave it alone. Who the fuck is doing bad shit with Skype? Like, you know.
Well, I had a really this app, and mind you, all these apps are free, so you get what you pay for, I guess.
Exactly.
But the thing I first was using an app called Skype Recorder, I think it was called, or I don't remember what the name of it is. And it was working beautifully. It was fine. Didn't have any issues. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Then they updated, and the app wouldn't work. Callgraph was the same way. We used to use Callgraph.
That was the one that was.
Yeah,
I remember.
Callgraph was just and Callgraph worked, and then they did their updates, and then they fucked it up, and then you're just sitting there going, just stab me in the eye, right here, just right here in the eye, or right between the eyes. That's fine, because So then we went to Sketch was like, we'll just use what is it, MP3 recorder is what it's called, and it works. But then you got this. Oh, look, it didn't record me, but it recorded everything else. Great. Now I gotta go re-record a fucking podcast. And here's the thing, Sketch, what we've actually been doing, and for people that'll actually listen to this when this comes out, you can hear, this is kind of a little behind the scenes of the other podcast. What we usually do is we record. He records, I record. So that way, in case something happens, we have those two recordings. Mm-hmm. If both of ours drop out, but he gets my vocals and I get his vocals, then maybe we can piece it together kind of thing. That's a shitload of fucking work. Yeah. But there again, that's kind of like a fail-safe. So we've been kind of doing that right now. We just, I don't know if you knew this, but we interviewed Phil Lamar, the voice of...
oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's
Phil Lamar.
Phil Lamar has done like a gajillion fucking voice. Like, it's funny. I always, every time I think of him as from Mad TV. And then, like, you go and you look at his IMDb page, and he's, like, on every... I mean, of course, I clearly remember seeing, like, his name, like, in Futurama. Like, that's, like, one of his more major, ones that he's known for.
Amen.
But, he's one of those guys that, like a Frank Welker or something like that, where, and he's still young. Like, he's not, he's going to be doing it for, God forbid something happens to him. But, he's going to be one of those guys where he's going to be, like, 80 and still doing fucking voices. So, okay, so you guys interviewed Phil Lamar?
Yeah, we interviewed Phil Lamar, and what we did in that recording is we did 2 recordings, but then we didn't mute our mics, because... What we kind of figured out was if you're recording a podcast and you mute the mic with this program or you reset it or do anything with it, all of a sudden it's like it could like jeopardize the recording. And it's just like, what this is. It's just utterly ridiculous.
Record everything and just fix it in post. And then sometimes like what people may notice that like this podcast sometimes. I do a thing. I scan the whole fucking podcast, and I do a thing called truncate silence. So sometimes if it sounds like we're kind of like talking, and then like there's a real quick gap, and it talks real fast again, it's because I do a thing called truncate the silence. Because obviously you're listening to a podcast, and it's funny sometimes. Like it'll be like we'll do an episode that's like an hour and 10 minutes or whatever.
You'll have to teach me these skills.
Yeah, and then I do this thing called truncate silence. And it drops down to like an hour and 4 minutes. So it's like technically within the whole length of the podcast, there's like 6 minutes of silence. So that's why if our podcast sounds a little different, it's because I do that thing. Like, it sounds like we're talking faster than we are. Sometimes we take breaks. Sometimes you have to think about what the fuck you're going to say.
Right.
And, maybe we don't have diarrhea of the mouth all the time.
No.
And so the truncate the silence takes care of that. Because, as much as I love the Tsunami Fatal podcast, there are times where like someone will make a joke and it kind of bombs real bad and everybody gets real quiet, and they don't, like, no one knows what to say next. And so I do catch that when I do listen, like, someone will say a joke and like, oh, ooh, ooh, and then everything gets quiet.
That's why when I usually edit, I go in and I try to take out, I don't take out the whole silence, but I try to take out like a
enough
little
to
bit.
Make it comfortable. Yeah.
Enough to make it like, so it sounds good, but it doesn't sound like it's shit. But see there again, like for example, this last one that actually just came out tonight, that I edited, there was like, so we recorded it on a Monday. The ratings didn't come out till like Tuesday or Wednesday, so I had to do another segment. We had to do another segment with the ratings in it. The problem with that, when I put it in, there's like this like buzzing noise or something. I don't know what it is, and I was like, it's done sketch. However, you need to do the noise reduction because I ain't doing that. Because every time that I try to do the noise reduction in Audacity, I'm just like, nope, this is shit. Here you go, sketch. You do it. I'm like, I've done the heavy lifting. You can do this. I'm good. So with the last episode, I want to thank Jen for coming on. I know she's been, like I said, she's been chomping at the bit to come on the show. Just in the light of fairness, bringing on someone who's actually a Trump supporter, and Jen and we've been hanging out a lot. I don't like her now. Well, no, it's you have to at least look. We can't just say, hey, we can't just like shut her down and say, no, you can't talk. It's like, it's sort of like, I'm open-minded enough to have someone on the show that has an opposing opinion, and if they want to come on, she can have an opposing opinion, but it's still wrong.
And like the invitation still stands, because what I wanted to talk about next is, if Oscar was to ever get Wi-Fi or if Oscar ever wanted to somehow contact us, he's more than welcome to come on the show. Now, actually, Oscar sent me 2 emails, and in one he said I didn't answer a question that he asked. Okay, so let me go to the first one. So for the new listeners of the show, Oscar is a long-term fan, and every email he sends us is filled with hate and rage and evil. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Mostly directed to this guy.
Yeah, he hates my fucking guts.
Which is weird, because if you hate
listening.
Yeah, I know. Like if he hates him so much, why are you listening?
It's like it reminds me of like when Howard Stern did his movie Private Parts, and they're like, we listen in the test audience, and like the people who like him listen 20 minutes, and the people who hate him listen for 40 minutes. So, that being said, I do take in all his feedback, even if it's I know there's a little love there. You don't attack someone that much if there isn't a little bit of love there. But he goes, hey fanboy, were you able to sell a kidney and score Metallica tickets for their stadium tour? No, not yet. Once again, I still have to make sure I get my car fixed first. Do you have Wi-Fi yet? No, not yet. I have to make sure I get my car fixed first. What the fuck do you do for a living now? We kind of went over that. I couldn't really go too much.
He can't go into detail.
I can't go into too much detail.
Just like I don't like to go into detail about my job.
Yeah. And he goes, stop censoring, douche. I asked you a previous email and you dodged it, Oscar. And I don't know what his last email said. He goes, Chris just watched the series Billions, which was pretty damn good. It's about a guy who makes millions on Wall Street after the result of the 9/11 tragedy. Paul Giamatti plays the U.S. Attorney General investigating him. Anyway, in episode 4, your boys Metallica make an appearance, and I know you're a huge fan of them, so check it out. Also, Donald Trump has made the ultimate celebrity apprentice, Paul. Donald Trump has made the ultimate celebrity apprentice. Okay, Paul, has New York exploded? Is Rochester sinking into the bottom of the ocean? Like Y2J, I'm sure nothing drastic is going to happen. What are your guys' thoughts? Well, it's funny since this letter dropped.
Did we answer that?
We did. But that's the whole thing is I want to see what question he asked. What's your guys' thoughts? I still think we're on the fucking brink of World War III. I still want to get to the rest of the question, the rest of the email, because I want to make sure that we answer everything that he asked. So another question.
Very important to Chris.
He goes, what happens to all the people with the Obama? It's only fair. He writes consistently, and if other people want us to answer their emails, feel free to write us. He goes, another question. What happens to all the people with the Obama phone? Do they simply run out of minutes? Do people on Obamacare lose their health coverage? Well, right now, I guess they're still working that out. Chris, you keep talking about your new job. What the fuck are you being so secretive with it?
I would look that up, but we're using my phone, so I can't. Apparently, as we're recording tonight, the Republicans rushed out because people are there. There's too many Republicans in the middle of the country that are sitting here going, "You need to get it. You need to get rid of Obamacare," and it's kind of funny because here's what happened, and I'll try to answer this as quickly as I can, Oscar. Obamacare did a couple things, and what it did is it made it what's the best way to put it? It made it cheaper for people to get insurance. Now, it did a couple things because, number one, when I was younger, and correct me if I'm wrong, you would know this more than I would because you're older than me. No offense. I don't think insurance had deductibles before, so I think that part kind of changed. And, that pisses me off because, you'll go to a doctor's visit and you'll be like, you'll pay like the $20 copay and then you'll get a bill in the mail and you have to still pay like $65 or something. Mm-hmm. It's really, it's annoying. But basically what Obamacare did was it gave people an option, but it also did something where it allowed people to, if they chose, not to go into, not to get any insurance. Mm-hmm. The problem is that, and see, this is the thing that they blame like CNN for not saying any of this stuff. I blame the Republicans for not saying any of this stuff either. In mostly Republican states, some of these Republican states didn't take any of the Obamacare subsidies for the insurance. So because of that, they got fucked over. And so like a plan that would be the same plan here in New York State, which is like, let's say $200 a month, would actually be $400 a month in like North Carolina. It was really shitty. And even now, like some of the insurance companies have doubled. And there's also been other companies, like for example, that have just pulled out of the marketplace altogether, and there's only some states only have one. And I'm pretty sure if I were to research it, it would probably be some of those Republican states. So I understand the frustration, and I do understand what's going on. But here's the thing. Obamacare, what it did is it eliminated the pre-existing conditions. It did something that New York State did first before even Obamacare came along, which was you get to stay on your parents' insurance until you're 26 years old. Love that plan. It worked out wonderfully for me. I was able to get all my wisdom teeth taken out right before I turned 20, 26? No, 27 is when it would start, because until you're 20, I don't know, whatever, 26, 27, whatever. So now the Republicans are kind of going, oh, fuck. Because the thing is they never read it. They never read it because the Democrats pushed it on through, got it through, and it was all set. The thing is that 90% of it is actually really good, but the Republicans don't care. They just want to repeal it and replace it.
Because it has Obama's name on it,
right? But here's the
just
thing.
Because it came in on his administration, now all of a sudden.
Here's the thing, though. When a lot of people found out that it was actually the actual term for it is the Affordable Care Act. I think there's another name for it too besides Obamacare. People went, "Oh, that's what it is?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, yeah, don't get rid of that."
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about?
Because exactly, people hated it because it had Obama's name attached to it,
and that's fine.
The Republicans voted it out only because it's part of the old administration,
right?
That it's part of Obama's legacy, and Donald Trump ran on that. He ran on that fucking platform. He said, "If I get out of here, I'm going to repeal Obamacare," and people love that shit. Just from the words alone. Oh, it's gonna be great. And and because there was shit all over Facebook where like the guy's like, I don't want my Obamacare, I want my ACA. Yeah, ACA is the Affordable Care Act. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The Affordable Care Act is Obamacare. Because it was a different name, and he knew it under ACA. That's the only reason he didn't want Obamacare because Obama's name was on it.
Well, let me just say this too. It's John Boehner, who was the Republican Speaker of the House. He retired. He saw what was coming. He didn't want to have anything to do with this shit. They asked him about this, and his exact words were, "Oh, it's not going to change. It's going to be the exact same thing. There's going to be some slight changes, and it's going to be a conservative version of Obamacare, basically now. It'll be called Trump Care, basically." And that's the thing, is that, there's only a couple things in the law that need to be changed. Number one thing in my mind, get rid of the fucking... You have to work 32 hours to get to... 32 hours is considered full-time. Get rid of that. Make it 40 again so people can... That's part of the problem. See, they sit here and they talk about repeal. Are you talking about the hours in that too? Because here's the thing: the Republicans put whatever, if it's just like, if it's the same plan, just like little tweaks. Are you going to change the hours? Because that's what needs to be changed. It needs to be changed to 40 hours because that's what's killing people. Because these companies, they don't put people on for 40 hours anymore. They put people on till 30 hours. I'm full time now. I get 40 hours. I love it. Awesome. I get enough money to where I can live, But, these other companies, and I think they did that at Rite Aid for you, when you worked at Rite Aid, obviously. We can talk about that because you're no longer there.
We can talk about it now.
So, it's... you only worked, 30 hours a week, basically?
No, they kept me like at 35, 36 hours. And they were saying it's full-time, but it's not really fucking full-time. Give me a 40-hour week. And that's the whole thing is they paid me so little that I was able to collect. I had health insurance under public assistance. I had Medicaid, and like if you're a person that's like me and I'm a fat bastard or whatever. Right now, I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. But then again, I also had the gastric bypass surgery 10 years ago. But I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. Don't get me wrong. I have to start taking better care of myself. But if you're just going to have Medicaid as in like, look, in case if I get hit by a car and I need to go to the emergency room, then I need that. And I was seeing a therapist for a little while, but that's just to keep me from fucking gunning down people in the street, But that being said, that's sort of like, I kind of had like maintenance, for people that have like big time, real deal fucking issues that need to be taken care of. They would need better health care.
They used the guy that does Last Week Tonight.
John Oliver.
John Oliver. I watched one last night where he's talking about how before they did the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare, whatever you wanted to call it, they actually targeted a kid. They targeted a kid that was the only reason why they wouldn't give him an insurance plan is because he was fat. Mm-hmm. And this kid is like 1 or 2 years old, because that's a pre-existing condition. How is being fat a pre-existing condition? So, Republicans are kind of seeing the light of this. And see, here's the thing, and I kind of think this leads into what the title of this episode is, the wiretapping, and Obama's secretly sending massive amounts of people out to protest and blah, blah, blah. Folks, let me tell you something. If you think that Obama really cares about, what's going on right now, maybe you should see the pictures of him going out and, being on the water.
Yeah, he's
having fun.
He's drinking pina coladas,
He's doing exactly what every president should do after they leave office. I don't think Bill Clinton did this, mind you. He's the first president I've ever seen just sit there and be like, fuck this, I'm going to go get some vacation time. I'm just going to chill and be fine. And he doesn't want anything to do with politics right now. He's going to come back into the game probably in about a year, but he doesn't want anything to do with these politics.
He's been a punching bag for the past 8 fucking years. Yeah. So he's gonna relax. He's gonna, when he went into the office, his daughters were fucking teenagers, just like tween age, actually.
Tween age.
And now they're in college. And I'm pretty sure that's
one's in college, one's in high school.
That stresses you the fuck out.
Yeah.
He's relaxing.
That's the whole reason they're still in Washington. Yeah. They moved to a place in Washington so the one girl could finish high school, and then they're gonna move.
And it's like, let's just say if Obama was wiretapping, and if it was under any kind of official thing. Now, see, here's why I think there's issue. Like, a lot of Trump's guys were talking to Russian ambassadors, and they were talking to them on recorded lines. Why? Because every fucking phone in the White House is recorded. That's just fucking human nature.
This was before they got into the White House too.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But they were conducting business, and when I say the White House, I mean the government in general. I'm not talking about the actual physical location of the White House. I'm pretty sure stuff happens in the White House, but in their offices and in the White House, every line is tapped. As in, it's recorded because there's matters of national security. And what I'm saying is, they're making it sound like wiretapping, they're using one phrase and making it sound like it's something bad.
But let's stop there, because Trump got all this information from Breitbart and some other news organization that's fake news, because Breitbart doesn't tell the truth all the time. And here's the thing: why are you taking information from these people? I understand you're trying to divert attention, but don't use something this stupid. Look, you got Lindsey Graham sitting here looking at you going, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Look, a lot of people ask me, why do I still hate on Trump? It's not because I want to hate on Trump. It's because he does it to him. He does these things, and I'm just like, I can't let this stand. I can't let somebody sit there and talk on Twitter about shit like this.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's scary because it's like, are you that much of an idiot, or do you think I'm that stupid enough to think you're that much of an
dude,
idiot?
his supporters are that stupid. And I'm not saying all Republicans are stupid, and I'm not saying even I got a Patreon. Sorry, I have the phone here, and with it recording us, I can also see it'll also give me the notifications. And I just saw Patreon. I'm like, ooh, Patreon. So what was I gonna say? So, Trump just it's to the point where Trump, every time he tweets, I sit there and I go, why did you tweet that? Yeah. And it's like, you don't, he's not a president. And look, I'm not saying, people will be like, well, what's presidential? Let's look back at all the other presidents that we've seen. And you don't see a guy being this way. And, this kind of comes all the way back around to you starting this with World War III is going to happen. I don't think World War III is going to happen. And it's because of the people that are in the Congress, like Lindsey Graham, like John McCain. And that's I'm really starting to like those guys again. Because, first of all, they're not up for re-election for 6 years. Was it 6 years? Yeah, I think it's 6 years is senator. They're not up for re-election. So they're sitting here going, fuck you, Trump, I don't care. And as Republicans, as we go through each year, and Republicans are, if the Republicans stay in the office, if they don't get voted out by Democrats, because I have a feeling a lot of them are going to get voted out, whether it be the House or Senate, they're going to start going up against him a lot more. And I think that it's good to see that we have adults in the room, because, Trump, for example, calls the Australian prime minister and pretty much treats him like shit. And then John McCain calls up and goes, just ignore him. That's basically what he did.
We don't pay attention.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing, is that, like, if you got Trump going off on fucking Twitter over fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm worried that, he's going to say something about another world leader, and that world leader's not going to fucking take it lightly, and he's going to cause, his ego is going to fucking cause a fucking international incident, and he can't keep his mouth shut. And you can't take back. I mean, people put things on Twitter, and and they know with Donald Trump, the minute he puts it out on Twitter, there are people recording that shit. I mean, and I guess, and I think technically, his Twitter now is technically part of the official Library of Congress.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, people follow Trump like a hawk because he says outlandish shit, and he's gonna put out, Twitter sounds like some fucking high school girly shit. I'm just saying, he's gonna say or do something and gonna piss off other world leaders, and they're gonna wanna take it out on us, because on the world stage they don't want to be punked out.
The only thing I see happening is, well, we're already starting to see it happen, is something happen with North Korea. But yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, it's a long time coming, and I would rather, let it happen under Trump so we can blame him. And then, we'll just go with it from there. Because honestly, like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing North Korea do this or that. Just bomb the shit out of them. And here's the thing. In these
unstable times, we have a fucking even more unstable president in office.
Right. And here's the thing.
Level heads.
You got an unstable president in the White House with an unstable leader in North Korea who is not getting the attention that he wants. So being a little spoiled little brat, he's trying to fire missiles that probably have nothing involved and trying to get attention. And it's like, you got China sitting here going like this, like, what the fuck? Like, they're sitting there, like, look, yes, China is communist. Yes, they do supply North Korea with stuff, and sometimes we sit there and we look at them and go, what the fuck are you doing? But even China goes, look, you're going a little too far. You need to, okay, little boy, you need to calm down. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
I mean, but what happens? What happens if he hits Japan? Because right now,
if he hits Japan,
he's trying to intimidate Japan, and if he hits Japan, as of right now, we are allies with Japan.
If he hits Japan,
we have to go.
China will back away, and Japan, South Korea, and us will bomb the shit out of him, and then we'll take over North Korea, and North Korea will be better because of it. Here's the thing, like, I I agree with Trump on one thing. I don't think that we should be involved in everybody's fucking business. I was thinking that way before Trump was even in office. I don't think we should be involved in anybody's business. I also do not think that we should be giving countries money unless we have a base in their country. If we have a military base in their country, yes, give them aid. That's the least you can do for letting them give you a base in their country. Like, for example, Jordan. But if we don't have a base and we're just giving them money just to be our ally, that's kind of paying somebody off. We shouldn't be doing that. And we have way too much shit that needs to be done here instead of doing that, we should take that money. But even that aside, in a country like North Korea is a perfect example of when we should intervene. You have people there that are fucking brainwashed to sit here and worship this leader as a god. Look, China is a communist nation, but they're not even that stupid. They're not even that stupid. They're sitting there going, no, no. And here's the thing, I've always said this. China, and even Russia, as much as people want to sit here and say that Russia is going to somehow take over the United States or take over Europe or whatever, Russia, as much as Vladimir Putin wants to be a dick, which he is being a dick, that does not equal them trying to take us over. No country's going to try to take us over. Why? Because they get a shitload of money from us. And it scares the shit out of them because Trump is trying to do some kind of tariff thing. And, honestly, again, I'm not going to sit here and disagree with him. I think that if a company decides that, well, you know what, it's going to be better for me to put workers over in Japan, or not Japan, China or India or whatever, fine, you're going to get taxed. I like that idea. But the way that he goes about it, the way that he talks, he's not inspiring. He scares people, and it's like, there are ways you can do this. And yes, you know what? Look, and I guess this is going to be the political half of this podcast. Sorry about this, but we might as well do that.
The dick and fart jokes are coming, people.
Yeah, it'll be the second half.
I just need to check my notes.
It's to the point where, he needs to start becoming presidential. And I think it's a good step for him to let his advisors talk and him just to be the president, okay? I would hope if they could do that and they can take the Twitter away from him as much as possible, it'll be a better presidency. Because, look, this is, regardless of what I think, this is my president. I want to make sure that I do want to support my president, and I do want to make sure that us as the United States of America live as long as possible. So, I want him to be as successful as we possibly, because if he's not successful, we're not successful. But there's a difference between wanting and helping him being successful and him just sabotaging himself. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's part of the problem. Just like this whole wiretapping bullshit, just, it's probably not wiretapping. One of your guys called a line that we're recording from a Russian that we're looking at. And because you were on there, your guy was on there, you're fucked. That's not wiretapping. That's tapping the Russians like we've always done.
Yeah.
Okay? That has nothing to do with Obama. Obama cannot do that. And by the way, CNN explained the process today. There's no way through this court process to get a wiretap that none of the news organizations would learn about it, in my view, before, and it would just be some kind of secret. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way in this day and age that Obama would get away with a wiretap. We would know about it. Okay, and from what he's telling us, from the sounds of it, this would happen in the last year. Like, there was some this is the 21st century. We're doing a podcast live on Facebook. Okay, like, yeah.
Well, I got a couple of things I say. Well, one, I think if with the wiretapping, someone made a great point on Facebook. If there was wiretapping going on, well, Donald Trump is now in power and he can declassify any documents that were found because, if he needed to prove his point, he'd be more than willing and able to kind of just say, hey, look, here's proof that I was wiretapped.
And you know what happened today? First of all, when he signed the new executive order to keep terrorists out of our country,
the travel ban,
there was no cameras. And then, when they did the press briefing, there was no cameras either. Because they didn't want to answer that question on camera. They did not want to answer that question at all. They didn't want to talk about that question about, is Obama wiretapping? Because Trump, in anger, tried to deflect the attention, but he doesn't seem to understand that it's bringing more attention on him. And then these news organizations are going to dig deeper. Here's the smart thing. Instead of excluding the New York Times, CNN, and all these major news organizations, why don't you give them more access? Give them more access so they don't do this to you. They don't start digging and trying to figure out what you have in the closet.
Because they're going to find shit you don't want them to know about.
Exactly. You are a businessman. You should be intelligent enough to know that if you don't want somebody to find out something about you, don't bring attention to yourself. Yeah. Period. At some point in the next 4 years, we're going to find something bad out about Trump. I guarantee you. And it might result in him being impeached.
Yeah. Well, okay. And I just got one more thing before I think we should move on after this. Is my deal when I say World War III, and I'll get back to Oscar's letters. When I say World War III, is that I'm worried that, he's pally-pally with Putin. Now, let's just say Putin decides to fucking invade Crimea or any kind of expansion from Russia. And now he's got his buddy over here in our country saying, we don't get involved in other people's issues and problems. And so basically Putin kind of starts expanding and fucking, Donald Trump tells the United States, hands off, or we're not going to get involved. Meanwhile, this maniac is fucking on the other side of the planet, expanding the territories and probably terrifying people and terrorizing people and killing people. And so, I think that's another thing that kind of goes unchecked where, Donald Trump's going to say, oh no, we're not going to get involved, and then, then Putin's going to go crazy. Putin will be the next, dictator that makes Donald Trump look like a fucking kitten, because remember, the guy's ex-KGB and everything like that. So I just wanted to throw that out there. All right, I just want to get back to Oscar's letters because I don't know if he was asking about the Obama phone.
I think we exclusively answered that. As far as the Obama phone real quick, yeah. I think that's kind of, I don't think it has anything to do with the Affordable Care Act, but...
yeah, I think right now, I haven't heard anybody complaining about their phones running out of minutes. I bet, what it is, they're probably going to use what they call attrition. As the phones die out, you're probably not going to get another one, and then for the time being, so there's going to be people 10 years from now that still have the fucking phone from 8 years ago.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing, too, they haven't even talked about those, so.
Yeah. Okay, so this is his question from a month ago. Chris, you keep talking about your new job. Why the fuck am I so secretive? With your past multiple trouble, you've gotten into a Men in Black position. Unless you're a new porter cleaning toilets at Area 51, you live in Rochester, the anus of New York State. Please share something about what you're doing. Just curious. I'm sure you are intelligent enough to give a description and not give away any trade secrets or privileged information. I honestly think you're really working on the Trump campaign and don't want Paul to know. Now Trump has blessed you with a dog catcher position or something. When will this new job afford you Wi-Fi so you can get Darrell back on? If you have no idea how happy I was when your Facebook Live wasn't working, Chris, your friends are not too entertaining. And then he goes, did you guys hear about the Mexican with the 18-inch penis? How hilarious. Check out this link and my friends in the States sent me. And I did see the link of the video of the guy with the 18-inch penis. All right. And then the very last bit of Oscar mail, which is pretty much the first half of the episode. And it's in response to the last episode. And I texted Jen. So Jen said, you don't let me know when you're going to record. I texted Jen right before the episode. Oscar sends, what the fuck, dude? WTF, dude? What the fuck, dude? Jen? Really? What did I do to piss you off? What did I do to deserve this? Paul? What the fuck? Why did you let Chris tarnish the 2S1P name? And when Jen, I'm just reading what he wrote here.
First of all, Oscar.
Well, we explained that you were.
First of all, we already explained that. But first of all, I don't own Two Strangers One podcast. This man does. Second of all, I didn't know you loved me that much.
Her horrid laugh, it could make a deaf man cry.
Wow.
I'm so sad. Whoa. Damn, Chris, damn you to hell. So just in all fairness, I got it out there because he sent it and I've spoken to Jen about this and we spoke about it in the last episode. She's a tough girl. She just, it was one of those deals where,
So basically I don't even need to send Darrell down there to kill you. Jen will go down there and do it for free.
Hey, remember, she's Italian, so she may have mob ties.
Hey, I know things about Italian mob, okay? You're fucked, Oscar.
All right, so with that, we'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
Hopefully.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, Prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
doll popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going to be a rough
How did you watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-n-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers, One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. All right, Paul, so let me see. I mean, I have some other things that I wanted to talk about. Nothing super duper important. How
about the 20,000 movies that are coming out in March? Holy shit.
Oh, okay, we could talk about that. I didn't... We've been having some crazy weather. I mean, I know when there's people who say,
crazy weather doesn't define it.
They say literally all 4 seasons of the year in 1 week, where one day it was literally 65 degrees.
Yes.
Not even that same evening or the next morning, my car is covered in snow. Not a lot of snow, but enough dusting on the car. And last week we had some ridiculously fucking
wild weather.
Winds that were so high that a gas station by my house, the overhang that goes over the pumps,
right,
was ripped down because the wind was so crazy. And it's not even like when you're like downtown and most places in the big cities, when you're in a place where there's a lot of tall buildings. And you get to and there's a lot of wind. The buildings act like a wind tunnel, and do a lot of damage. This wasn't even on a block with fucking like a lot of tall buildings or anything like that. This is sort of in a very residential area, and the winds ripped that shit down. So,
there was that one. There was also one in Batavia that had that happen too, where it just. But see again, it happens to these. It happens to these ones that have canopies that have just one thing in the middle. And, more than likely they've probably been there for, like, decades.
Yeah.
There we go. Decades. So, I mean, like, it happens. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it is what it is, unfortunately. But,
yeah,
because, like, my gas station has, like, though it's a huge one, it has, like, 4 different pillars. So, I mean, I don't see that one going anywhere anytime soon. But, there again, it is old as shit.
Yeah.
You probably should replace it, but...
Yeah, the wind was strong enough where it just tore down gas station overhang.
Actually, and power went out too.
But the power, it is when the power always goes out in the fucking sticks. I don't feel. It sounds
it
weird.
happened in Henrietta.
Like I said,
that's not in the sticks.
Henrietta's not the sticks, but people who live in suburban areas. Like that's the price you pay for living in a suburban area. The weather gets a little crazy, you lose electricity. If you want electricity all the time, live in the city. Like a normal person does. Don't live out in the fucking.
You'll be okay, Chris.
I'm just saying. It's funny. It's always like, it's the same areas that surround Rochester that are sort of suburban. That whenever we get crazy weather, it's such and such area didn't have electricity. And well. Then you know what? You could either have electricity all the time, or you could go live by the minorities. You can't have it both ways. I live in the city, so I can talk shit.
Yes, you can, but then you can also get cut.
I get cut. Let me see. Okay, I guess the big thing that we could talk about in the nerdy news, and it was kind of the episode of it was the name of our episode a couple episodes back. Logan. Let's talk some Logan. But you never saw it, so I don't know if...
Dude, I have no time. When do I get to see it? I work at a movie... You want to know who uses my movie passes? That woman upstairs. I don't use that shit. I can't even give you free passes half the time.
Yeah, I went the night it came out, like the Thursday night before it came out. Of course, I went to Paul's movie theater. And
damn straight.
And I have to say, I was thoroughly impressed, for the way the X-Men movies have been going. And don't get me wrong, I actually liked Apocalypse. I don't think Apocalypse... People shit on Apocalypse. But all these movies have been slowly turning into the same deal. They fight a big CG monster, something big, crazy laser in the sky, whatever the case may be. It's always like the whole world's going to end, and all the team has to come together and fight this one guy at the end. And I'm so glad that this wasn't one of those movies. It wasn't some madman going to blow up the fucking world, or, yes, of course, they're bad guys. And I guess, kind of spoiler alert, because I don't want to have to censor myself. So, I don't know when to tell you to go back and listen to us when we're not going to talk about Logan. But, just a quick warning. I like that the movie was kind of small. It wasn't the world was going to end. It was about these clones. First, there's here we go. So now we're really getting to spoilers. There's a unmentioned or undisclosed reason all the mutants have died. Now, of course, going online and stuff like that, a lot of people say that Professor X accidentally killed all the mutants. Because in the movie, and once again, super duper spoilers, Professor X, since he's so old, he's senility, he's starting to get old and senile, and he starts having fucking brain seizures. But he's also the most powerful fucking mental power in the fucking world. So when he has brain seizures, people miles around fucking freeze because his brain is fucking, so they don't say it specifically, but it might have been that at one point he had a seizure while in Cerebro. So Cerebro boosted his, and once again, this is pure theory, boosted his seizure and literally like froze the brain of every mutant, basically killing them all off. So since then, it's been like 25 years since a mutant has been born in the movie. So then they go and they bring in, so it turns out in like South America, or in Mexico, excuse me, they have, and that's that. I forgive my South American and Mexican friends for getting those confused, but I believe it's in Mexico. They're doing experiments where they kind of like some team went and started like collecting the bodies of the mutants, and then putting them like using their DNA to then make new mutants. But these are mutants that they can control. Like, you know, like we're gonna raise them. Like these are gonna be our soldiers and stuff like that. So besides Professor X, Logan, Caliban, which I believe was in one of the other X-Men movies, and X-23, like there are no other mutants. Well, every other mutant in the movie is X-23. They're created by this organization, whatever, that they want to control the mutants. So when you see the kids that have powers, everyone kind of goes, oh, you know, here's a mutant, the kid that has ice powers, maybe that's Iceman. You know, here's a kid that, you know, I was wrong. I realized he was moving the rocks around. I thought it was a guy that had like Magneto's powers. They had Magneto's DNA. That being said, since it's a small movie, like Patrick Stewart playing like a senile old man, like a guy who's lost his fucking mind, like, and it's real. I mean, it's sad to think about it, and you know, you take in such a fantastical thing of like, here's a superhero and a guy who's like literally losing his mind, you know, and you put the two together, like here's someone so fucking powerful losing his mind. It's very tragic, and I think Patrick Stewart acts his ass off in this movie, where he's a guy that he feels old and feeble, and then, you know, he remembers, because he mentions a tragedy that happened a long time ago. They never mention it in the movie. That's why everyone thinks that maybe he might have killed all the mutants. And he just feels remorse for that. You know, then there's Logan bonding with the little girl. Turns out the little girl is made from his DNA, so for all intents and purposes, it's his daughter, X-23. I did like how in the movie, like, the clones were from Mexico. So they all speak Spanish. Like, you know, they don't, you know, we're America, we think, oh, we're the center of the fucking earth, you know, and they realize, no, shit can happen in other countries. So she doesn't talk for like 3/4 of the movie, and then when she finally talks at the end of the movie, she's speaking like Spanish, and she kind of picks up a little bit of English. Hugh Jackman was fucking great. You know, I guess it turns out, and once again, I feel, is it bad that I'm spoiling this for you, or okay? You know, it turns out like the adamantium was always slowly kind of poisoning him. So like he had healing, but you know, adamantium's not supposed to be inside a body. So I think like if he never had the adamantium skeleton, he probably would have lived longer. And you know, so you know, just after years of getting beat up and adamantium poisoning, you know, he's slowly dying and stuff like that. Professor X is, you know, an old man, and I just think the way it ended, it was very, very sad and tragic, and but in a good way. And I like the fact that they kept this movie small. But that being said, the action sequence were off the fucking chain. Finally seeing a rated R Wolverine slash motherfuckers, stabbing people in the fucking head. You know, there was a part where like, well, even in the beginning of the movie, like since Wolverine's getting old, like not all three of his claws don't all come out the same length. Like one of them kind of stays in just a little bit, because showing like how he's getting old. But you know, stabbing motherfuckers in the head, slicing motherfuckers' heads off. I loved it. I thought it was you know, what a way to, you know, end the franchise. Now, of course, they're gonna find a way to sneak him into fucking Deadpool 2.
I was, you know, well, here's the thing. If you look on Twitter right now, Ryan Reynolds is trolling the shit out of him. There's a picture of Hugh Jackman where he's, he put up a picture and he's like, I think they're at the Australian premiere. He's like something about like all the fans, and Ryan Reynolds goes, "Those look like He's like, I'm pretty sure those people are protesters. And then he's like, and then Hugh Jackman responds like, really? Really, man? And so I'm. First of all, I love the trolling. Second of all, Ryan Reynolds is just like trying to. He's trying, like, I've never seen somebody try to get somebody in a movie so hard as Ryan is. I honestly think what's going to end up happening, and I was thinking about this today as I was working, I don't think you'll see him as Wolverine in Deadpool. I think you'll just see him show up randomly. He'll just do some kind of cameo as Hugh Jackman. and that'll be kind of like
Hugh Jackman, the actor. Yeah, because legally you can't have Wolverine, but he did mention Hugh Jackman in Deadpool.
And the reason I'm saying that too is because
he breaks into Hugh Jackman's like mansion or something like that.
Well, no, see, the whole reason why I'm saying that is because they're trying. The rumor is that they're going to cast somebody soon to take over Wolverine in this new universe, which I don't know if you can do that under the new X-Men because, well, he was in the new X-Men, but. Yeah. Semantics, whatever. Semantics, whatever. You can do whatever you want, I guess.
Well, I mean, now that they introduced his daughter, I mean, they could really... I mean, they could not have Wolverine proper, but have a Wolverine-like character. But because they can make the 9 years later, and now she's a hot 20-year-old, you know?
I mean, you could do Wolverine, honestly. I mean, you could, because, you know, he's still young at that point when Deadpool's around, so, I mean... You could bring him back, but I think it's going to be more like a Hugh Jackman kind of cameo more than a Wolverine, just to satisfy people.
Yeah,
because I think they're going to try to get somebody else as Wolverine, and you know what? I hate to say this, but good luck to whoever's going to try to take over those claws, because holy shit.
Yeah. Well, then again, hey, you know, like, had you told me after Spider-Man 3, and we're not going to get into the big Spider-Man debate as we always do, but, you know, had you told me someone else is going to play Spider-Man, like, I was definitely against Andrew Garfield. But then again, you know, we got Tom Holland, and, you know, I haven't seen much, but what I've seen of Tom Holland I like. So if they get if they're smart, they'll get someone young so they could, just like with Hugh Jackman, you know, Hugh Jackman's been playing the same fucking role for like 20 years now, a little less than 20 years playing fucking...
Well, no, he has to be kind of a mature... He can't just be a young actor. He's got to be a mature, you know, because Wolverine has always been like that. What I'd like to see them do, and I think this is something that they probably should have done when they first introduced Captain America, and I know Fox is a different company than what Captain America was, blah, blah, blah. Owns the rights. That's what I mean. You could have... The whole story of Wolverine started... You started to notice him back during World War II? World War II with Captain America because he fought alongside Captain America. There's several comics that indicate this. So, for me, it's like... I think that was one of the biggest lost opportunities. Not the whole Deadpool thing, but more the Captain America thing. Because I think you didn't necessarily have to bring Wolverine into the Avengers, but I think that whole storyline should have been taught. It should have been not taught. Should have been done, because I think that would have been a wonderful story to see. Just to see how Wolverine interacts with Captain America.
Yeah.
You know, the bone claws and everything. So. I don't know. I think there was a lot of lost opportunities, and I think, you know, Sony has shown us what happens when you allow, even though you have the rights, allow Marvel to work its magic. We're gonna really see, speaking of Spider-Man, how it is coming up. Is it this summer?
Or it's next summer. This summer is you know, Guardians of the Galaxy and
dude, there's so many movies like it. They all like whatever.
Next summer is Infinity War, and then, you know, there was a rumor. Well, not a rumor. It was reported that Hugh Jackman said, "That's it. I'm done as Wolverine. But if you can get me an Infinity War, I'll come back." And I think Disney should fucking write a check to Fox and say, "Look, you know."
Well, and
because you got what's his face? You know, Thanos has the fucking Infinity Gauntlet, so you could say, okay, these are different realities, but Thanos has the ability to fucking bend reality.
Well, I mean,
it could be that he's, you know, it's Wolverine, but Wolverine from literally a different universe. You know, that somehow makes it into our universe.
Well, but this goes back to, like, as much as I don't want to say that, like, Deadpool was part of the... Was he part of the Avengers? I think he was a part of the Avengers, kind of.
You know, what they did was, in Deadpool, the bad guy took one of the crashed SHIELD helicarriers.
Right.
And even though they never called it the SHIELD helicarrier, but they did call it helicarrier because no one owns the name helicarrier.
Right.
So they called it the helicarrier. They just never called it SHIELD helicarrier. So technically, Deadpool is in the Avengers universe. I mean, if you want to be real loose about it. So, which I guess technically would mean that Wolverine is in the same universe also. But
I mean, what I'm saying to you is that, I don't like I there's going to be more than enough superheroes in Infinity War, so you don't necessarily need Wolverine. Do we want Wolverine? Yes. I mean, but here's the problem. If you're going to bring Wolverine in, you might as well bring all the X-Men in. And then there's like, what is that? 5 to 10 more characters that you got to bring in.
Yeah.
So I completely understand why, that isn't happening. I would certainly like them to do, bring these people in, but it is what it is, I don't know, a lot of lost opportunities, a lot of things that could have happened, but it is what it is. You know what? They should just learn from it. After Infinity War, bring these superheroes in. Let Fox... Have Fox... what was it? It was supposed to be the X-Men versus the Avengers. They talked about that.
Yeah.
You have a whole new young crew of X-Men.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for? Let's get this shit on.
Yeah. It's... Damn, I lost my train of thought. But I like the idea of you can bring the universes together, because once you have the Infinity Gauntlet, it could be any kind of reality. Shit, I lost my fucking train of thought. I had something I wanted to say.
Well,
about
I mean, the other thing is too, you got Spider-Man, who has interacted with the X-Men several times. Actually, in one issue, speaking of the X-Men, in one issue of Fantastic Four, he actually became part of the team.
Yeah, he became part of. Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things where you just sit there and you just go.
Yeah. Well, okay. Now, now I remember what I was going to say. Is that we would not have gotten Logan if we didn't have Deadpool. Logan wouldn't have been rated R, and it wouldn't have been the movie that it was if Deadpool wasn't rated R first. So,
Hugh Jackman said that he wouldn't have done it if it wasn't rated R either.
Yeah, well, I mean, then Fox would have said, "Fuck you," then we're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think these movies, and I really hope that with the success of these movies, that Fox doesn't hold its stuff closer and say, "No, we're never going to give this stuff up because we're making so much money." I hope they do the opposite. I hope they go and they say, "Look what Sony has done. Let Marvel handle these characters, and all you have to do is sit back and collect the fucking paycheck." And if you want, I think, let them handle let Marvel handle Fantastic Four, let Marvel handle fucking X-Men, let Marvel handle Deadpool, and then what you can do is, okay, obviously, let's just say through some magical thing they go, okay, we're gonna have Deadpool, we're gonna have Wolverine, and it's not like we're gonna have cursing, masturbating Deadpool and Wolverine. We're not gonna have we're not gonna have the R-rated version. We're gonna have the fucking PG-13 version.
I do want, if they are gonna put, if they do get lucky enough to put Deadpool, which would be hilarious, in the Avengers, I will get that he can't swear as much, but I do want him to still do the whole third person whole thing where he just turns and looks at the camera.
Yeah, well, that could be the joke where he tries to curse and he can't. And he tries to curse and he can't. He goes, "Oh, that's right. This is a PG-13 movie."
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And where he makes a joke, and then everything he wants to do, he can't do because it's a PG-13 movie.
And then Captain America would be like, "Who are you talking to?" Somebody just off the.
Yeah, I mean they could easily work, and and it's sort of an inside joke. It's a very meta joke that he's in the world and he can't do things that he wants to do because he knows he's in a movie, and so.
Well, that's what they're trying to do right now. Is they're trying to figure out how to take Spider-Man and have him, because that's kind of where they're, okay, as much as they want Wolverine and Deadpool to interact, the one they really, really, really want to interact is Spider-Man
and Deadpool.
And Deadpool, and they're kind of there's rumors that Fox and Disney or Marvel or whoever are kind of like talking back and forth to each other, like, how can we do this? I don't know, it's a rated R film. We really shouldn't put Spider-Man in a rated R film. I know, but it would be hilarious just to, have him like go by in like 2 seconds, and then Deadpool's like, oh my god, I just had a boner or something, something like that. Like Tom Holland doesn't even have to be in it. Just like Deadpool's like doing something, and then Spider-Man goes by or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
you know what would be really hilarious? They would never do this, but just do the whole fucking Family Guy thing where he just saves Deadpool out of nowhere, and then he just goes, everybody gets one. And then he just goes away. That would be hilarious. That would be so fucking hilarious. I would love that shit. And then like fucking Seth MacFarlane would be like, excuse me guys, you took my idea. So, and by the way, I was thinking about this too while we're talking about Deadpool. I was thinking about this today. Maybe it's because we were going to do this podcast, but what would you think until Deadpool, the movie comes out of Deadpool? Why not have like him just like showing up on, not as Ryan Reynolds, but as Deadpool on Family Guy? That would be fucking hilarious.
Well, yeah, and it's owned by Fox, so they can.
And yeah, and that would be hilarious. He just like randomly shows up. Peter, put your Peter away.
Yeah,
just stupid shit or
it
whatever.
Would be, yeah, I mean, well, you know what it is, and once again, here's another spoiler. But then again, by this time by today on the internet, it's the cat's out of the bag. What I thought was the beginning of Logan was actually a teaser trailer for Deadpool.
Yeah.
And it that's, I mean, I don't want it sounds, I'm glad
it's all over the internet.
I'm
so
glad
you can spoil the shit out of
I'm glad
that.
it wasn't spoiled. I'm glad I wasn't spoiled, because I'm watching this, and it's a whole scene about a guy getting stabbed in an alleyway, and then you see Deadpool, and for a split second I'm like, holy shit, they put Deadpool in Logan. I was so fucking excited. I was like, and the joke of the teaser trailer is he jumps into a phone booth and he spends all this time trying to fucking
with
get
the
changed
Superman theme.
With the Superman theme. But and I think it's because I think Richard Donner or Donner's company has something to do with Deadpool. So I think that's how they got the rights, because that's fucking that
anybody can buy the rights to any song.
But I'm saying Superman's DC, and so so I think Richard Donner's company, Richard Donner, who directed the late '70s Superman and early '80s Superman movies. So I think he has something to do with it. That's how they got that music. But he's getting changed in the booth. Then he presses his ass against he's naked, getting dressed into his Deadpool outfit, and his ass is pressed against the glass and stuff like that. And as he's getting dressed, as hard as it would be to be getting dressed in Deadpool's fucking costume in a phone booth, the guy is getting brutally fucking murdered on the street, and you just hear the guy just like dying, and it's really funny, and I'm glad it wasn't I'm glad it wasn't spoiled. And here I go spoiling it. But then again, once again, if you've been on the internet today at all, I've seen it on a million fucking pages. But I thought it was pretty funny. So does Deadpool, would it be great if he's on Family Guy? Yeah. But like the same thing he did on Halloween when he did that sketch with the little kids, when he brings the little kids out to the playground and stuff like that. Remember when they were promoting Deadpool?
Yeah.
They were promoting the DVD. If they are smart, they'll continue to do that. They'll just give us little 3-minute Deadpool teaser trailer movies that that we could all fucking fall in love with.
I think him like kind of doing something like on Family Guy too, not like a recurring role, like just like every once in a while he pops in like Spider-Man does, just like all of a sudden, and it's actually Ryan Reynolds doing it, because nobody can at this point. I think everybody's been like, okay, he's Deadpool.
Yeah,
and honestly, Fox, so that's awesome.
Yeah, he would. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
And by the way, like if you kind of Fox kind of screwed themselves over, because now people are going to be like, well, why isn't he in the X-Men movie?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm waiting for it. And see, the thing is like these studios have this thing about, oh well, he was rated R, so we have to keep him rated R. No, you don't have to keep him rated R. You can say the F word once in a PG-13 movie. That's a rule. So why not?
Well, maybe like every time he tries to say "fuck," there's a loud horn. There's something, he gets he gets hit with an anvil. Then finally, like at the very end of the movie, "fuck," every time he almost says "fuck," like he's gonna say it, and then something bad happens. Like I said, a loud horn. He gets hit with an anvil. Something out of the blue. And, you know, or even make the joke where he never says it, you know, like he's always just about to say it and he always gets censored or something.
Professor. Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. Yeah. You son of a...
Now, so with speaking of the Marvel movies and stuff like that, the new Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, which you couldn't fucking avoid. And once again, I try to stay away from trailers, but when I go to the movies, I can't avoid the trailers. And that's my one thing. I don't go online and purposely look up the trailers, but if I'm going to go to the movies, I'm going to see the trailer in the movies. The new Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, we finally get to see Kurt Russell as Ego the Living Planet. We get to see the new character Mantis. I like that they're kind of making Michael Rooker's character, the blue guy, from the Reavers. Well, in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, he kind of has like this little red thing coming out of the top of the head. Then the character that he's playing in the comic books has a big giant fucking mohawk. So in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they finally let him grow, like, you know, but, you know, now he has a mohawk where he looks closer to the character that he plays. Michael Rooker, the blue guy, is the guy, the Peter Quill's like teacher or whatever, the bad guy. But he's not a bad guy, but you know, he's out for himself, and you know, so I like that they have him in it. You know, you see Peter Quill with the old school 1980s digital football thing that he converted into like a monster detector or something. It's like the monster's coming in, and so that was kind of cool. It looks, I mean, you know, am I still irritated they have Baby Groot? I think Baby Groot's there just to make people who don't like Guardians of the Galaxy like Guardians, like, oh, he's so cute. You know, I find that's a little bit of pandering. But it looks really good. I mean, James Gunn, I have faith in James Gunn, and I think the movie's going to be fucking awesome. You know, I mean, it's so weird to just say, like, it looks awesome.
We'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of big movies, like I said, like this month.
And then this one, and they're going to, you know, and obviously this is, you know, obviously the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is going to be some sort of entryway into Infinity War. You know, they cannot, you know, and not really spoilers, there's no post-credit scenes in Logan, which I was so surprised that they didn't do. But, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy is going to kind of give us a heads up on how they end up being in Infinity War. So, you know, you got that to be excited about. So, all right. So what's coming out in March? We got Kong, Skull Island.
This week, yeah, Kong is Skull Island. I gotta do this in order.
And then with Kong, like, it's so obvious that they're leading up to the Kong Godzilla movie. Because if you go to
there's a whole trilogy, like a whole like bunch of movies that they've set up already.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what comes out on the 17th, because Power Rangers is the 24th. Ghost in the Shell comes out on the 31st.
Well, I mean, look, and you're probably gonna kill me. I've never seen Ghost in the Shell. And everyone, like, if you like The Matrix, you like Ghost in the Shell, because basically people say that Matrix stole from Ghost in the Shell a lot.
I mean, basically what you would have to do is watch the 1995 animated movie. Mm-hmm. It should be, I mean, if you get any of when you get your paycheck, if you watch, it's on Hulu. The whole Ghost in the Shell series is on Hulu. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you watch those, you should be prepared. That'll prepare you for the movie, because it takes a lot of elements, I think, from both. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the movie yet, so, mm-hmm. But, you know, I'm excited for that movie. I think it's going to be really good. I
mean, I don't mind looking at a naked Scarlett Johansson or.
I don't think she's naked.
Not naked, but I mean, you know, as in, you know, I don't mind, you know, staring at her what appears to be naked but not naked, but like, you know, whatever synthetic body, whatever you want to call it.
I honestly think like they did a good job from what I've seen so far trailer wise. I think they've done a good job with how they casted the movie. Mm-hmm. Again, the problem that we have with these type of movies is you get these anime fans that are all like, well, they're supposed to be all Japanese. And for me, I look at these characters and I'm like, well, they look like Americans. So I can't really say that they're Japanese, but okay, I get where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you look at that and then you turn, you look over here and you're like, I get what you're saying, but this is a different form, and why don't you just watch it and see what it's going to be about instead of whatever? Because this is the first time that they've been able to do a live action Ghost in the Shell movie, and mind you, far be it from me. I don't know. I don't think there's ever been a live action Ghost in the Shell. There might have been in Japan. I don't know. I haven't heard of one because I imagine with this coming out, we would have heard that there was a Japanese version. So this is the first time that they're doing it. And the guy that created the series has seen the movie and has said he's very happy with the results. So I'm just going to watch it, see what happens. It's probably going to be involved with Toonami somehow. I can't see them not doing some kind of promotion with Ghost in the Shell. Was it DreamWorks, I think? DreamWorks, I think, has it. If DreamWorks doesn't do anything with this, like promotion-wise with Adult Swim, I will literally go down there and choke them. I will pay the money, take a plane to Los Angeles, and I will choke the motherfucker that didn't do it. Because that is stupid. It's the whole reason why at 3 o'clock a.m. Every Saturday night, Sunday morning, you can watch Ghost in the Shell now because they put it on because the movie's going to play.
Is it Ghost in the Shell something complex or something like that?
Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
Complex, yeah. Cause I've actually, oddly enough, seen a couple of episodes of that.
It's really good. It's a really good series, and to be honest with you, a show at that of its time had really, really good animation. Really good for the time. Mm-hmm. It was one of the best animated shows out there. Mm-hmm. And you just sit there and you go, you kind of sit there and go, this is kind of like how I want these shows to be animated. Mm-hmm. And a lot of shows that preceded that kind of tried to model that kind of that thing that way that it was animated. So you know.
I mean, and you know what it is? I'm actually not going to watch the original movie. I want to see this one first.
Yeah.
Then I'll go back to the source
and
material.
then watch,
and then I'll say, oh, it was butchered, or it could be good. It looks good. Let's just say I never knew Ghost in a Shell existed as a pre-existing. If I had no other knowledge and I saw this trailer, I'd say, I want to see that fucking movie.
Give me your phone. I'll look it up. I'll look up what's on March 17th because I got to figure it out.
We got The Zookeeper's Wife. We got Chips, Last Word, The Shack, Logan. Oh shit! Well,
yeah, The Shack's already out.
Boss Baby.
When does that come out? The 17th?
Let me see. March the 3rd was The Shack, Logan, Before I Fall, The Last Word, Table 19, Wolves, Burlesque, Glitter, Heart of Glitter, Tribe, Lavender, Catfight, Scientology movie. Thursday.
What's coming out Friday the 10th?
Friday the 10th, Skull Island, Raw, Ottoman Lieutenant, Personal Shopper, Beautiful Fantastic, Brimstone, Swing Away, Sense of Ending, Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, that's what it was. That's the big one.
Yeah, that's one everyone's getting pissed off because there's a gay character. The
Belko Experiment.
The Belko, I did not know what the hell that was until I saw the trailer. Have you seen it? Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. It
is fucked up.
These people who go and they're working at some corporate office building, and I don't know if they're all new or if it's been a company that's been there for a while, and then all of a sudden, all the fucking these big gates close all the windows and all the parts of the building seal off, and it's sort of like there's 80 people in the building right now. In another hour, we only want 30 to still be alive, or something like that. So they'll have to fucking start killing each other, and that's pretty fucked up. Yeah, they said it's Battle Royale, which is a Japanese movie, meets Office Space. Beauty and the Beast, Devil's Candy, T2 Train Spotting, which I heard is good. They were talking about in another podcast. And you got Life, Power Rangers, Chips.
Chips will do okay.
Chips, and it's one of those deals where like, oh, how fucking
Boss
stupid.
Baby's on the 31st. Okay.
Yeah. Car Dogs, Dig Two Graves, Bouquet. Why does Bouquet sound familiar? Slamma Jamma, Last Face, Wilson, Boss Baby, Zookeeper's Wife, Ghost in the Shell, Donnie Darko. Or is that so like a 20-year
probably
release or
something? Yeah.
Fuck Donnie Darko. I hate
so basically, there's a lot of movies.
Donnie Darko fucking sucks. Stop that fucking bullshit.
So like March is packed with a lot of movies. It's gonna be what it is, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Boss Baby will be interesting. I haven't seen too many trailers for it, but it's supposed to be whatever. It's one of those typical kids movies.
Yeah, you throw it in front of your kids, shut them up.
So, we got anything else before we get on out of here?
Let's see, what else? Suicide Squad won an Oscar for makeup. That's the, we live in a day and age where Suicide Squad won a fucking Oscar, and I'm happy. I liked Suicide Squad. It could have been better, but I liked it. Get Out by Michael Keegan, right? Michael Keegan, that's the director. The guy from Key and Peele. Get Out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to spoil the ending. I've heard the ending spoiled. I actually had someone spoil the ending for Split for me also, and so
is that me?
No,
me.
So I mean,
let me put it to you this way: if you look up on Rotten Tomatoes right now, Get Out is, if you were to take out the racist reviews for it, it would be 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I got to say, and I guess this will be our last thing. Or also, okay, rest in peace, Bill Paxton. I kind of made jokes. I said rest in peace, Bill Paxton, and I started naming all these Bill Pullman movies. But he was the one guy who's been killed by a Terminator, a Predator, and an alien in the movies.
This is true.
And so rest in peace, Bill Paxton. But I do have to say that, like, when you watch like Key and Peele had some really good-looking, cinematic-looking sketches. Like, it wasn't your run-of-the-mill, sketch show or it looked like it was filmed in some bullshit sound studio. I mean, the sketches they did, some of them they goofed on movies, which is the funny thing. But even like ones that were sort of commonplace or whatever looked cinematic, and so I'm so glad that they're expressing themselves, or at least Key is, to make a movie like that where people are saying it looks beautiful, it's social commentary. I kind of looked at an article online where he says he has more like quote unquote horror movies up his mind, like social commentary horror movies, which I'm excited about. I haven't seen Get Out, but I keep hearing good things about it.
Oh yeah, it's doing really well. It's doing annoyingly well, but it's doing really well. It's just like you'll get like maybe like 50 people for one show of Logan. You'll do like another 40 for this show. That one will do like 150 people. And then like you'll do another 50 for Logan. So like 2 or 3 shows of Logan equal one show of fucking Get Out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be that's the one that get that's what a lot of people would call a sleeper hit. Like it didn't come out to big fanfare.
It was only made for like $5 million too.
Yeah, so
it's incredible.
That's awesome.
It's incredible.
And also, okay, my one last Prison Break. I can't believe they're actually.
I saw that you were talking about
Prison Break season 5. I loved Prison Break season 1. Prison Break season 1 was so good. Then they went to 2. Then they went to 3. Then they had to go to Mexican jail. Then they had to break out of Mexican jail. Then it was like a whole season where they're on the run and they're being chased down by and the show got so fucking ridiculous that it just like, and I'm surprised because both the brothers in the show went on to the WB shows where one of them played Captain Cold, the other one played Heat Wave, and they were on The Flash and a couple episodes of. Then I think they both went to Legends of Tomorrow, and I guess spoiler alert, I didn't know this. That shows you I don't watch Legends of Tomorrow. I guess both characters are dead, or missing or whatever. So obviously they're not coming back if they're going to do a whole new season of Prison Break. But I'm happy to see Prison Break come back because I really, really, really like these season 1. I can't fault the other later seasons because how much conspiracy can you have? And then it's one of those deals where like, then they'll come out with something that's like, oh, I planned for that. Oh yeah, really? You planned 4 or 5 years ahead that such and such was going to happen, and that was going to happen, that was going to happen, and I just happen to have the book that has the codes in it or whatever. So I mean, it's so fucking stupid. But I'm actually excited about Prison Break season 5 because I think now that they've had a time to think about it and actually put a story together instead of just pulling shit out their ass, which I felt they started doing by episodes 3, 4, and 5, 3 and 4. I'm actually excited about that. Okay, so let's wrap it up. That's what she said. And please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net where you can find all things show related. First and foremost, you can find links to our iTunes page where you can go back and actually, no, you can't listen to every single episode, but you go back and listen to our past 10 episodes on iTunes. If you have an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod, iTunes is world renowned. If you don't have an iPhone, iPad, or iPod, you can look us up on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHR, the Stitcher app for Android devices and also online. And that's what I do. I put it on Listen Later. I put it on Available Offline. So you listen to get all your podcasts while you're in a Wi-Fi spot, like when you're over at a friend's house or at McDonald's or at the public library. And then listen to the episodes later on without killing your data or your battery. So on the Stitcher app, for Android devices, and I think it's also on iPhone devices also, but I use it on my Android phone. If you don't want to use iTunes or Stitcher, you could actually use our hosting site. For Christ's sakes,
SoundCloud does have an app, by the way.
Yeah, SoundCloud does have an app, and
you just got to look for Two Strangers One Podcast. It should come up. I've done that before.
Yeah, but it won't let you. You can't download it though. I don't think on the app won't let you download. That's my one kind of beef with the not on your phone.
Yeah, maybe not.
I could do it on the computer because Oh, Kelsey, I just sent you a message.
What'd she say?
She said, when you guys are going to be done, I want to be in bed by 11. We're almost done.
We're almost done.
We're on the SoundCloud app, so you can go on. And like SoundCloud and on Stitcher, every podcast worth listening to, Chris Hardwick's The Nerdist, Kevin Smith's Smodcast, Mark Maron, Adam Carolla, and of course Paul's other baby, the Tanami Faithful podcasts are available on both SoundCloud and on Stitcher and in iTunes. All right, I mean
iTunes, TuneIn Radio app. For those of you that aren't familiar with that, you can get like channels everywhere. Like, let's say you want the channels that were in Buffalo, you can get those channels on the TuneIn Radio app. You can get wherever. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, like if you try to get like certain channels, they want you to pay for it. But you can. Podcasts have actually been allowed on there, so that's why we're on there too.
And I forgot. Yeah, I'm not to cut you off, but I forgot we're on the Google Play Store. I keep forgetting about that
too. Yeah,
the Google Play Store. If you do want to go back and listen to every episode, nearly 5 years, we're like a month away from 5 years worth of podcasts. That's half a fucking decade. You can go and find all the episodes on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and search for Two Strangers One Podcast. You can find all the old episodes, and you can even find my few stranger vlogs, which I do promise to go back and start doing some more of. I've just been so crazy busy. If you want to write us like Oscar does, and you want to curse us out or praise us or do whatever you'd like, and want to send us titty photos,
you mean send Chris titty photos?
Send me titty photos. You can write to us at
I'll get in trouble for those.
Two Strangers One Podcast at gmail.com. Once again, that's Two Strangers One Podcast at gmail.com. I got Oscar sending me pictures of a guy with an 18-inch dick. I don't want to see a video of a guy with an 18-inch dick. Send me titty photos.
Yeah. We're gonna have to have a conversation, Oscar.
And then we are also on Facebook. Facebook.com/Two Strangers One Podcast. Of course, we want your money. We need your money, but if you can't spare a dime, it takes 2 seconds to like our page. It takes 2 seconds to like and share us on your Facebook page. What do I feel like I'm missing something? We're on Twitter at
Stranger Podcast. We're also on Facebook. As you can see us live. Hi.
Yeah. And then there's
it's Facebook.com/Two Strangers One Podcast.
And then we also have a group, the Two Strangers One Podcast Network, which I've been slowly adding people to. And buy my book, Lulu.com. You'll hear the commercial at the end of the episode anyway.
Of course we will.
Lulu.com.
Of course we will.
Search for Double Jackpot. I am working on my other book. Is going to be an audio book, which I'll put out on YouTube when I finally get some time.
Side note, I probably, when Toonami does eventually go away, I probably will end up in my 40s writing a book about my experience and how you should use social media these days and whatnot. Because I think I could make a good buck off of that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. But I think you covered everything.
Yeah.
Facebook Live, by the way, I'll try to make sure that he puts it on the Two Strangers One Podcast page, and instead of being like, meh, it's on my page, meh. Like, we'll get you a better phone, Chris. We'll try to get you something.
Yeah.
Actually, by the way, it's called, what the fuck is it called? It's called an iPod. So you could get an iPod and do the same thing. See? You can find me on Twitter at Paul Pascrillo. You can find me, you can ask me questions. It's ask.fm/Paul Pascrillo. And of course, you can email me. It's paulpascrillo at ToonamiFaithful.com. Not you, Oscar. You've kind of scared me. So one thing I want to talk about real quick before we go. March 17th is coming up, which is 20 years that Toonami's been around.
Woo-hoo.
And we're doing some special things. So come over to at Toonami News or Facebook.com/Toonami Faithful Official, and you will see some wonderful goodness that I'm putting out. There will be a free CD. There will be the winner of the music video contest. There will be probably a live podcast, I think, that night. We're going to try to do one. I don't know. I have no fucking idea. I just follow whatever everybody else wants to do. And then there's something else which I'm not going to really talk about just yet, but I think you guys will be happy with. So, but yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening, had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye. You should be fapping.
Never do that live again.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I got to meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia is spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
Yeah, it
man.
is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it, that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could sell them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne right now.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.